when is the right time to deal with an objection? Well, at a presentation, objections are for the end. So when somebody starts trying to throw a flurry of objections at you at the beginning of a presentation, you got to chill out and save that towards the end. Not like I did 2 days ago, because, hey, that was a $1.4 million deal. I didn't get it. Now, at the end of the presentation, Santiago, the husband was like, I would hire you right now. And then I'm looking at him on Zoom, right? And then I look over here at her, and she's like this. And I'm like, oh, snap. I don't got her. I'm like, so what I should have done in that scenario is called the filter effect. And the filter effect, Tajay, is like, all right, hey, I just want to make sure we're on the same page before I let you guys go. I know you're making a decision. And then I filter down what it is that could be an objection. All right, so how did you guys feel about the what I do as far as finding off-market properties? I feel great about it. That's pretty cool. Have you heard about that before? Not really. We hadn't. All right, would that be something that would be pretty cool for you guys to have as a service? Now, keep in mind, they were referred to me on somebody who was a sign call who didn't want to double end it. So they were trying to get me in to be able to be the agent who represented submitting the offer. So they already knew they were going to submit an offer on this property, which is maybe why she asked for half the commission. And still, that could have been an opportunity to role play that or to engage that after value. But certainly, if I feel like I don't have everybody on the same page, you guys should be engaging those conversations at the end of a presentation, especially when you're going to try to get a contract signed. Maybe they're not going to sign it right there at that minute, at that moment. But man, I should walk out going, okay, typically, as a standard, there's exceptions, right? That, hey, are we going to do business together or not? You need to think about it. Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about that. And then I use the filter strategy. So how do you feel about marketing? How do you feel about the off-market stuff? So what are your thoughts on what I do to engage my network? How do you feel about the negotiations and the money that I can save you there? So what are your thoughts on, okay, and I break it down, every piece of the value that I presented at the presentation, and then get to maybe the hard stuff, right? Because it's the Hansel and Gretel effect, right? Just leaving little crumbs for them to follow until I get to the hard stuff, Andrea, where I go, I feel like maybe we could not be on the same page still about compensation. Do you feel that after all the value that I've provided to you, that I am worth the 3% that I typically earn from the seller who pays my compensation? And then they go, well, yeah, but, because that would have definitely came, right? Yeah, but we found the house, and all you have to do is walk us through the tail end of the transaction. And then my response would have been like, well, hey, look, for sure, I hear you on the transaction. You guys did find the property, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to write a contract for you. And so let me ask you, what percentage of the transaction, like how much work do you think finding the home is? And this whole process of finding a home and going through all the steps of appraisal and inspection and conditions and title and closing, like what percentage of the transaction do you think finding the home is, Andrea? What percentage do you think it is? Role play with me.
2?
That'd be great if it would say 2, right? So whatever they say, right? And it's probably going to be more than less, because look, they know what I'm doing, man. They're smart people, right? There's $1.4 million house. They're pretty smart. They're going to go, it's probably half. And I go, half would be a decent guess if I were in your shoes. And I'll be honest with you, finding the property, Andrea, is about 25% of the transaction. So now look, are you going to concede commission? Sometimes you are. Right? How often and how much? Because looking back on it, now look, transparently, some sales trainers are just going to be like, no, any other questions? Don't concede anything. The more I've had time to think about it, the more I was like, okay, well, look, you found the property. She was not a citizen. She is from somewhere else. And I'll tell you, in the United States, we like to buy sticker price. In most other countries, bargaining's part of the sales process. So if you don't bargain something, they don't feel like they're winning at all. And now looking back, I felt like if I had taken a deep breath and allowed myself to, hey, let's talk about that towards the end, and then methodically move through value, and then comfortably and professionally engage conflict in regards to any apprehension or resistance they may be having to go ahead and moving forward with me, then I may have found out, okay, well, hey, yeah, go ahead. You know what? Take the 3%. Or no, we're still uncomfortable with it, and we did find the property, and so Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, why don't we do this? This is fair. I'd be willing to concede 25% of the commission to you if you'd be willing to go ahead and agree that we should, we can go ahead and move forward from this conversation. Does that sound fair? Now, maybe you do that. Maybe you don't do that. At a $1.4 million deal, when I don't, and I knew the listing agent, right? I know that I was going to put that deal together. Like the likelihood of me putting that deal together, and maybe it's this too. Hey, I'd be willing to concede 25% of the commission on this deal. But if and I know you guys are being pretty proactive on finding properties. As far as me spending the time and the energy finding off-market properties and networking, because I will find off-market properties. I do that. It's not just something I'm saying. Right, that I would earn the 3%, the full commission, if I find you something else. I'd be willing to do that if you'd be willing to concede that. Does that sound fair? Okay, I'm throwing hypotheticals out there for you guys because you got to be willing to negotiate your own scenarios where you get some different things that come up.